Hi there, I have been meaning to do a video for a while. I did a video why I don't want Bill DeBlasio to be reelected, but I haven't really done a video supporting the candidate of my choice, Nicole Malliotakis. And the reason why is I was intimidated by the fact that I fear that as a Trump supporter, people will automatically dismiss what I have to say. So I'm going to tackle that. To compare Nicole Malliotakis to Trump, I don't think it's a fair comparison. If you look at some of the reasons why people said they didn't want Trump to get elected, one of the biggest arguments against him was that to go to being a president without having held any public office was a huge jump to make. And for Nicole, she is running for mayor, for one, so that's not as high up as president. But in fact, she is actually a representative in the New York State Assembly. So that's like a congressperson, but for the state, if you don't already know that. And she represents, I don't know if it's all of Staten Island or part of Staten Island, and she represents part of Brooklyn, just a little bit near the Verrazano Bridge, I believe. She's been reelected before. They like her, so she has experience in public office, and she's going for an office that's not as high as his. So that reason to not vote for her, like to say that you shouldn't vote for her because in some way she might, because people in New York don't like Trump. That's my first debunk of potentially not voting for her if you don't like Trump. Another thing about why people don't like Trump and why it doesn't apply to her, he said some kind of cringy things. I will admit that. Even though I am a supporter of his, I will admit that some of the things he said during his campaign, like the thing about the woman bleeding out of her eyes or whatever, that was a little hard to defend. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I can't really defend that. And to me, I consider my issues more important than that statement. Another reason why people criticize Trump that does not apply to her is they can criticize Trump for being in the Republican Party as a white male, and they say that the Republican Party has all these white men. So not only is she a woman, but she's half Cuban. She's half Cuban, half Greek, I believe. It could be a slightly different mixture, but her ancestry is Cuban and Greek. So she's not white, and she's not a man. And personally, I really like her politics. I like the fact that she's talking about running the city more efficiently. And Bill DeBlasio is just making faces at her. So, I mean, I saw an article basically supported the idea that Bill DeBlasio is a communist, which I don't think I stated in my other video because I didn't have proof at the time. So at some point I will probably dig up that article and talk to you guys about it. But since the mayoral election is getting closer, I wanted to step in and talk about her. The crime rates have gone up since Bill DeBlasio has been in office, and she wants to fix that. The MTA is having issues, and some people may argue that that's a state issue or that's an issue with the MTA. But the reality is previous mayors have been able to negotiate in a better manner on our behalf, and he's not doing that. The most obvious reason not to vote for Bill DeBlasio is several people were very upset about him going to not the G20, but to be in Germany during the G20. But really, I don't want to talk about Bill DeBlasio. I want to talk about Nicole Malliotakis. Crime is up, and she wants to fix that. Homelessness is up, and she thinks that we can fix that by being more efficient. Positions in the mayoral office that have been costing the city a lot of money, and she wants to trim the fat back off. Basically, she wants to get us back to where we were when we had Bloomberg for mayor. And even in some ways, she even is a little more lenient. Democratic Party or independent, he was basically a centrist. And people have been very, very happy with him. Or they were when he was mayor. A lot of people told me they thought he was the best mayor we had ever had. And she wants to get our city back to how he ran it. So she's technically a Republican, but she's really very, very tame for a Republican. If she had any kind of scandals in her past, I would be seeing them. And instead, what I'm seeing the left say is, tie her to Trump so people won't vote for her. And I think that's a bad reason not to vote for somebody who has been in public office and has a history of really working for the people. And that's the thing, is it's so hard to find a politician who's not corrupt. And here we have somebody who is an assembly person for a chunk of Staten Island and Brooklyn, who is running to represent a larger chunk, and she's been doing a good job. She's been actually representing the people. And just based on that, I think if somebody is actually representing the people and actually caring about the people, I think we should give them those higher and higher roles in politics and eventually, push out the corrupt politicians. A lot of people probably think that local politicians don't matter, but if you don't already know what's going on in Berkeley, California, let me tell you what's going on in Berkeley, California. In Berkeley and in San Francisco, you have far, far, far left-wing mayors who are calling people white supremacists that are not even white, who are practically centrist, who are barely conservative, and then these hate groups that think they're charities are going out and they're beating people up. And we don't need that to happen here in New York. New York was the face of American corruption back in the 70s. And we finally got the city nice and clean and decent. And DeBlasio is ruining it. And I think if we had another 4 years of him, the city would fall apart even more. I think we need her to come in and undo all the damage that DeBlasio has been doing and get us back to where Bloomberg had us. When Bloomberg handed the city over to DeBlasio, it was in really good shape, and now it's not. And it's only going to get worse if we keep with this man. I mean, I don't even go into the city very much anymore. I mean, I mostly stay in the outer boroughs, but I even see it. I went to a park near me the other day, and I was walking in an area, and there were all these weeds to the point where the path almost was not really safe because it made it like a secluded area. And I was like, I don't remember it being like this. And then I realized that the last time I've been in that area of that park was before DeBlasio took office. So this is probably an example of him cutting corners. And, it made that area unsafe. I mean, luckily nothing happened to me. But we need somebody who's not going to cut corners, who's not going to, fluff out the mayor's office and create all kinds of positions to give jobs to your friends, all the while cutting services to Americans, to people in the city. That's not good. We don't want that. And I believe that she's been doing a good job as an assembly person, and I believe that we should definitely give her the promotion to mayor. So I advocate for everyone to vote for her and not to hold it as an issue that if you didn't like Trump, you shouldn't vote for her, because she's not Trump herself. And she's very tame as a Republican. She doesn't have sexual scandals. And she's not white. And she's not a man. And we keep saying, the left keeps saying that the right has no women in office. And it has no minorities in office. But when they run, nobody will vote for them. Just because they're Republican. So not just because of that, but I think she's going to do a good job. I think she's going to do a better job than Bill DeBlasio. And there's several videos of her on the internet actively advocating for New York City residents against Mayor DeBlasio, for the state. I found no complaints about her when I was looking. Like I said, the only complaint that I find about her is that she's a Republican just like Trump, and people don't like Trump. I think that's a very bad reason to not vote for somebody. Especially somebody who does indeed have that public office experience. Don't we want that? Isn't that what we said? I guess DeBlasio has that too, but look at the job that he's done. He hasn't done a good job. Let's be honest. If anyone believes that, I think they're kidding themselves. He has not done a good job.